Hello, good morning, good afternoon for some. I am Carla Gonzalez, the SBDCglobal.com site specialist with the International Trade Center in San Antonio, Texas. I wanted to welcome everybody to today's webinar. Today's webinar, we will be looking at the SBA Online Export Business Planner and how you and your centers and your clients can use this tool at your local SBDC. We are going to have a lot of webinar guests today from the Small Business Association, the Small Business Administration, excuse me, and they're going to be presenting the agency's export business planner, how you all can use it to help the small businesses either start and also expand some of their export ventures. So SBA, how we're going to be doing this, SBA is going to be walking us through the tool, what it is, how it works. And at the end, I'll provide some information about SBDC Global for some of you who might not know about it, and also to explain some of the areas that you all can use with your clients. Now, just some housekeeping. We will be having questions and answers for this webinar submitted at the end. Hopefully you all see on the right-hand side of your screen a box that looks just like the one that I have up here. You can type questions in, and we will be taking those questions at the end. The questions, they can be available for all of our speakers, but if you have a question for for a particular speaker, please type that name of who you would like to answer, and we can get you that information as well. Also, just another quick housekeeping, we will be sending out copies of today's presentation via email, so not to worry. We will also be sending a survey regarding how this presentation went, if you all had any complications in registering, and that is to help us with our International Trade Center and with SBDC Global just to monitor the quality of our presentations that we provide. So now to get started, I would like to introduce Carol Thomas. She is the Associate Administrator for the Office of Small Business Development Centers at SBA. So Carol, if you would like to begin.
Sure. Thank you, Carla. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Carla and the entire team at SBDC Global for working with SBA to host this webinar today, which is reaching so many SBDC counselors who are helping small businesses across the country realize their export business goals. Welcome to this important webinar training on the SBA Online Export Business Planner. Thank you for all your hard work in support of U.S. small businesses. The greatest strength of the SBDC network is its dedicated and highly competent counselors like yourselves who are working hand in hand with small businesses every day. Your access to and influence on the small business community makes you a highly valued ally in the implementation of President Obama's National Export Initiative to double exports between 2009 and 2014 to support 2 million jobs. In many locations, SBDCs have been actively involved with supporting small business exporters for years. In other areas, SBDCs are just getting started with international trade assistance and are becoming more familiar with export requirements, planning, financing, and the opportunity for growth that it presents for many of your clients. In either case, we believe SBA's online export business planner is a tool that will prove very useful to you as an advisor and to your small business clients. One thing that SBDCs are particularly known for is their expertise in business planning. The President's Export Promotion Cabinet would like to tap into that expertise to get more small businesses engaged in exporting. Today we're going to present a tool that will help you expand this business planning expertise to a global perspective and help make SBDCs the nationally recognized resource for small businesses interested in exporting. But before we get started with that, I want to introduce a wonderful colleague I have here at SBA, the SBA's Associate Administrator for International Trade, Dario Gomez. Dario will talk to you about the December 2012 communique from the Export Promotion Cabinet that has thrust SBDCs into the spotlight as part of the National Export Initiative. Dario?
Thank you very much, Carol, and thanks to all of you for participating in this webinar. We are thrilled to have such a strong and effective partner in the implementation of the NEI as we do with the SBDC network. By the end of 2013, we will have close to 500 SBDC counselors with either SBA Intermediate or Advanced NASBITE CGBP level International Trade Counseling certification. That is such wonderful news. Congratulations to everyone who has either taken the test or is undertaking it right now. I truly believe, and I've mentioned this to the administrators as well, that you are all building a network that will be reckoned with. To highlight the Export Promotion Cabinet, the Export Promotion Cabinet, or EPC communique, was issued in December 2012. This was sent through OSBDC to all SBDC state directors. It was the result of a series of meetings between the EPC and Trade Promotion Coordinating Committee agencies, including the Department of Commerce, SBA, XN, the Foreign Agriculture Service, and others. The discussions focused primarily on the roles of respective agencies and on identifying a national protocol for referral of clients based on their level of export readiness. We were sure to make it clear that while we understand and appreciate the value and usefulness of a national protocol, though, the reality is that each locality has its own unique makeup of resource relationships, so that they need to be sure to build in flexibility and allow for local determination of specific referral. What you see here is the EPC's client segmentation guide based on stage of export readiness. This was a core component of the export promotion interagency communique. I don't want to go too much into detail on this. What I want to do is highlight the fact that the SBDCs can be found in all 4 of the recommended referral resource boxes, regardless of the stage of export readiness of the client. This clearly indicates the significance that the administration places on the role and value of small business development centers. SBDCs are viewed as an essential resource for both current and potential exporters. If you'd like to read the communique in its entirety and for other useful resources, please visit www.export.gov/SBCounselors. This site was especially designed for those not feeling quite ready to talk about exporting with clients or just getting started. Whether you are in that category or a seasoned export professional, know that SBDC counselors are essential to the process of preparing small businesses for export success. With the SBA Online Export Business Planner, we think we can help. Before we move on to the highlight focus of this webinar, I wanted to mention another key component of the interagency export communique that involves SBDCs. Small SBA district offices and commercial service of the U.S. Export Assistance Centers, UTSA, have been tasked to implement local export outreach teams throughout the country. These teams network export promotion expertise and provide guidance for effective interagency referral of prospective exporters. They are typically launched by a workshop event that brings together the local export promotion resources and local export or small business development counseling community. The key goals of the workshop are increased understanding of resources within the network, development of local referral protocols, recognition of export readiness and export promotion and potential, and sharing of best practices in export promotion and a holistic client support. Being part of this network will position you to be a better resource for your clients and to help them grow. These teams are being formed now. The SBA district offices are required to identify team members by April 30th and hold workshops by September 30th. If you haven't already been contacted, please reach out to your local SBA District International Trade Officer, also known as DITO, to find out what their plans are. You'll learn about locally available resources as they learn about you. As I mentioned before, we had the national communique. The export outreach teams are the way to localize that communique, to customize it into every region around the country. And now, without further ado, on to what we are really here to focus on, the SBA Online Export Business Planner tool. For that, I'd like to introduce my fabulous colleague within the Office of International Trade, SBA Export Development Specialist, Steve Sullivan.
Thank you, Donio. I think all of you know and preach the importance of business planning. SBDCs are recognized as specialists in this. But as you might imagine, exporting requires planning and coordination not found in traditional business plans. SBA, with the help of some really great SBDC International Trade Center counselors, developed the Online Export Business Planner to help. Before you hear from a fellow counselor on how she's using the planner, I wanted to give you a brief overview. The Export Business Planner is a free, customizable tool for small businesses exploring exporting. Using the planner, you can work with your clients to determine export readiness and develop an export plan. This easily accessible document can be updated and referenced repeatedly as your client's export business grows. This innovative tool is designed to serve as a roadmap for creating an export business plan. This includes exploring foreign markets, developing a marketing plan and export financing strategy, product costing, and much more. But unlike a traditional printed manual, this planner is a living document ready to be customized and continually updated. The key to export success is planning. Everything you need is here in one place. The table of contents provides an at-a-glance look at the process with internal links to take you directly to your chapter of choice. Topical chapters feature background information and coordinated worksheets. A glossary of terms puts you in the know for common export terminology, and the extensive index makes it easy to reference key information on the fly. External links provide a research shortcut, launching specific websites and resources to make your background research efficient and direct. These also provide a gateway to podcasts, videos, contact information, and more. The variety of useful resources includes everything from the Take Your Business Global video series, where you can learn from current exporters and export service providers, to SBA's online international trade training course, podcasts on specific foreign market opportunities, and an Export 101 webinar. Whatever your or your client's preferred learning style is, you'll find it here. Overall, the planner is structured with two primary content areas. Informational pages provide background, need-to-know exporting info, readiness assessment, and a wealth of resources and links. Customizable worksheets enable you to work through the process with your clients and complete each exercise, and then save your work. These pages become your client's own customized export business plan. Customizable worksheets provide templates which focus on everything from conducting business assessments and foreign market research to developing a marketing plan, projecting expenses and sales, setting goals, and more. The worksheet you see here on your screen now, for instance, facilitates foreign market competition analysis. Each workshop includes open content boxes ready to be filled out. Simply move your cursor into any box and begin typing. Some require examining your business goals, options, and decision-making steps. Others provide automated calculations to assist you in forecasting and costing. So you can save the worksheet and continue using the planner or come back later. Page numbers make printing easy. A box in the top right corner of the worksheet takes you back to the information section at the beginning of the chapter. By completing and saving the worksheets, you are building an ongoing plan that evolves and grows with your client. Keep updating as export plans change or opportunities arise so that the plan stays current and continues to evolve as your client's export endeavors grow. Before you get started, be sure to review the chapter on using this planner so you're fully prepared to make the best use of the tool. Maneuvering through the planner with your clients is quick and easy. Note that in addition to the index at the back of the planner, clicking Edit Find brings up the little blue search box you see here in the upper right corner of the planner page. A fillable page number feature on the command bar above the chapter graphics allows you to jump to whichever page you like. Pages in later chapters include a Back to Previous View button that makes it easier to go back and forth within the planner. Getting started is easy. Topical chapters guide you through the export planning process at your own pace. As you work with clients through the various chapters and their accompanying worksheets, you'll be developing and saving a custom export business plan right within the pages of this planner. You can choose to work through one chapter at a time or explore multiple sections at once, depending on the time you have available and your client's stage of export business planning. All your client needs to do is complete the workshops and then worksheets and then save them, and their export plan will be well underway. As I mentioned earlier, the Export Business Planner was developed by a team of experienced export counselors from small business development centers around the country, so you know it has to be good. Special thanks go out to Berenice Carmona from UTSA International Trade Center SBDC, Christian Drowski and Joel Martino, Dallas International Trade Center SBDC, Nancy Lloyd, Massachusetts Export Center SBDC, and James Ryan, Bradley University International Trade Center SBDC. Where will your client's next big customer come from? Maybe the Export Business Planner can help determine that. Visit SBA's International Trade homepage at www.sba.gov/international for a link, or simply Google SBA Export Business Planner. Now for a more personal account of how SBDC counselors are using this tool with clients, I'd like to introduce Berenice Carmona from the University of Texas San Antonio International Trade Center SBDC.
Thank you, Steve. Today I'm going to be talking about how I use the SBA Export Planner to work with my clients. Here at the center, I help companies to import and export. So I'll be focusing on how I use them for my export clients. Most of the clients who use the SBA Export Planner are new to export, or they have limited experience exporting. These clients typically have never done an export business plan before, or they do not have a clear understanding of where to start or where they want to know. Many times they don't know the resources available for them. Although I mainly use it to work with new to export clients, I really believe this tool is so complete that experienced exporters can also greatly benefit from the SBA Export Planner. So, to start, I'm going to tell you about some of the needs that I find on the new to export clients. One of the reasons my new to export clients find the SBA Export Planner so useful is because it provides so much useful information, especially because their experience is very limited and they are not aware or where to look up for the resources or for help, or they might not be aware there is help available for them in order to achieve their export projects. Steve previously covered the Export Planner key features and what it can do for your clients. Now I would like to share with you a few cases of the clients that I have worked with, and today I'll be talking about two cases and how we use the Export Planners to assist them, and I'll share their experiences with you. First of all, I would like to start by sharing with you the experience. The first case is a jewelry designer and manufacturer. He uses semi-precious stones and metals to manufacture his custom-made jewelry, and he has a small shop in a town just north of San Antonio in New Braunfels. This client usually sells his products through art festivals, either local art festivals or statewide, and sometimes he goes to nationwide festival. And in this art festival, he has met several foreign clients, including many people from Germany who really love his jewelry and who have become regular customers. So this is how his idea of exporting his product to Germany began. he wants to sell his products there. He really believes there is a lot of potential, and the way he wants to start, the way that he wanted to export his products was at art festivals, just the way he does it here. He has previously researched and knows the country. He knows about the regulations, the permits required for him to sell in Germany. He already knew the schedule of art festivals available and additional details. He was very, very informed about how to sell there. Well, what he was telling me, and I was listening to all the knowledge that he had about the country, at that point, my main concern regarding his idea was if it was feasible. And of course, the most important thing, if he was going to be able to make a profit selling that way. I suggested finding jewelry shops to sell the product, and of course he didn't want to do that. I also suggested to sell online, and of course the client didn't want to do that either. He kept on saying that each piece of jewelry is unique and it tells a story behind it, which is impossible to transmit through a website. So actually the client wanted to be there and tell the final customer the story behind the piece of jewelry that they were purchasing. Well, at that point, he was very clear on that. So at that point, my job was to help him understand the cost involved in order to educate him so he could make a decision if he wanted to proceed that way. And of course, that when the SBA Export Planner was a tremendous tool for me and for him in order to find that out. I asked the client to fill out several worksheets on Chapter 7, which covers the accounting worksheets, including costing, financial forecasting, and product pricing. I really like all the worksheets available in the Export Planner, but the ones on this chapter I find extremely helpful. And I can say they are one of my favorite ones. When I work with clients, I like to work with them a chapter or a few worksheets at a time, depending on their needs. For this particular client, I selected a few worksheets I wanted for him to fill out, including export costing, marketing expenses, projected income, and setting your price. As you can tell, I didn't tell the client to complete the whole business plan, just a few worksheets on the area I believed at the moment he needed the most assistance with. And that was finding the cost involved in finding out his profit, or if he was going to be able to make a profit. I find that many clients find a little bit overwhelmed if you ask them to complete the whole business plan. So I prefer to work a few chapters or worksheets at a time. Well, in this particular case, I want to report that my client is happily selling through Etsy.com, which is an e-commerce website focused on handmade and vintage items, as well as art and crafts products. He found out his plan was not feasible, of course, due to all the costs involved. And very happy I was very happy to find out and help him. Now I want to share with you another client case. This case, this client is a Mexican company who has also established a U.S. Company here in San Antonio, Texas. And he wants to export barbecue charcoal. I have been working with this company for a while, and his product is export ready. We assisted him with product classification, label and packaging requirements, international trade flows, market reports, industry trends, federal hazard regulations, consumer safety regulation, logistics services, finding potential buyers. Well, the client was ready to enter the market. Well, I couldn't understand why, if the client was able to talk about the project and it seemed that everything was done and everything was ready for him, I couldn't understand why he wasn't making any progress. So time passed by and the client was not entering the market and was not making any progress. Well, as obvious as the problem seems, and I know that many of the listeners are consultants, and I'm embarrassed to confess this, but I kept on wondering why the client kept on postponing the project. On a follow-up with him, I finally understood what the problem was. Even though the client had all the information he needed, what he was missing was assistance to organize his project. He needed assistance on define his strategies and to set deadlines and define the project. And of course, key to export success is planning, and that was something that I failed to assist the client with. At that point, I turned to the SBA Export Planner to help me in order to help this client organize the project. In this particular case, the client had all the information he needed to fill out the worksheets. I had already provided that information to him. He only needed to organize his thoughts and strategies. I told client to fill out a few worksheets. As I mentioned before, I like for clients to start working on a few worksheets, and once they are done with those, continue on additional sections. For this particular client, this was the beginning for him to start a plan and also to follow this plan and guide him to be successful in his business. Another topic that I talk to my clients most of the time is regarding export codes or Schedule B. Most of my clients have no idea what an Schedule B is or where to get it. This is another way on how the export planner is very, very useful. And this information I usually share with clients that are either new to export or clients that have already been exporting for a while and just have a specific question. And especially for this section, I use the resources area, which the U.S. Census Bureau and the U.S. Commercial Service have partnered to offer this section of recorded videos on YouTube. And sometimes clients have just a specific question, like how to obtain an NAFTA certificate of origin. Is my product export compliant? What is an export classification control number? Or what's an export administration regulation 99? So specific questions like that, I like to refer them to this section and for them to review the YouTube videos. So I really recommend this resources section of the SBA planner. I find it very, very useful in order to provide guidance to my clients. Well, and now I would like to tell you how the SBA Export Planner has helped my clients. First of all, it has helped to realize what their needs are. When clients are new to export, many times they don't have an idea of how to begin, how to proceed, what's export about, what do they have to do. So SBA Planner has been able to guide them and also organize their projects better. And SBA Export Planners is full of tons of resources available for these clients. they can find about export lending programs available through SBA and Exim Bank, services provided by government agencies, including the Export Assistance Centers and the International Trade Centers or the International Trade Assistance Centers and their local SBDCs. And it opened doors for new opportunities and encourage clients to export and empowers them to pursue their business dreams. Also, finally, I would like to mention how the SBA Export Planner has personally helped me. It has tremendously improved my relationship with clients. Now I'm able to manage my time better. I'm able to provide more resources to clients, better resources. It has helped me to being able to organize my projects better and also to understand my clients' needs better in order to meet those needs. Well, I would like to thank you for listening, and now I will turn it back to Steve to talk about counseling training opportunities.
Thanks, Berenice. Great stuff. Really interesting. We just wanted to quickly point out a few additional resources that can help strengthen your export counseling expertise. www.export.gov/SB counselors is a good place to start. By the end of the month, a new webinar on the role of the SME counselor in the National Export Initiative will be posted in the intro section. The intermediate level section provides links to different forms of training on key international trade topics. This section is designed to help prepare counselors for intermediate level certification. This site also contains the link to that certification exam. Intermediate certification satisfies Small Business Act requirements for international trade certification of SBDC counselors. Since its debut in September 2011, over 300 SBDC counselors nationwide have acquired intermediate certification. Training for intermediate certification will also be available at the ASBDC annual conference. We're hoping to get former International Trade Center SBDC Director Elise Erickson from Dallas back this year for that. If you want a fun way to learn the basics of international trade, her riddle of exporting is a show you don't want to miss. Advanced level certification also counts toward achievement of the SBDC Network Small Business Act requirements. Certified Global Business Professional, or CGBP accreditation, is the industry standard for international trade expertise. The CGBP exam requires knowledge and preparation beyond the scope of the export.gov/SB counselors website. For more information on this widely recognized professional accreditation, visit the NASBITE homepage at www.nasbite.org. There will be an intensive CGBP track at ASBDC 2013 led by Jim Foley, Director of the Bradley University International Trade Center SBDC, to prepare counselors for the December window of NASBITE testing. Please note that SBA is reimbursing registration fees for SBDC counselors sitting for the CGBP exam through 2013. To date, nearly 200 SBDC counselors nationwide have acquired CGBP accreditation. In addition to the certification training tracks, there's a full slate of international trade training at ASBDC 2013 in Orlando. This year's International Interest Meeting, the afternoon of Day 2, promises to be full of updates and valuable information on the latest in SBDC counselor training and certification, interagency cooperation on the National Export Initiative, SBDC global expansion, and much more. If you're interested in networking with the who's who of SBDC international trade expertise, you'll get that chance here. Attendance at this meeting has grown every year. ASBDC will be reserving one of their largest meeting rooms for this year's International Interest Meeting. For further information on any of the workshops that you see listed here or on the certification tracks, please feel free to contact me at Stephen with a ph.sullivan@sba.gov. The last thing I wanted to mention is an upcoming webinar series being conducted by the Census Bureau's Foreign Trade Division. The popular Go Global Export Resource Flipper has been transformed into an 11-part webinar series providing guidance on federal assistance for exporters. While the series targets current and potential SME exporters, it can certainly benefit the SBDC counselor looking to become more adept at international trade counseling. The series starts next month. The first webinar on May 7th will focus on where to get started. It will highlight export.gov and Commerce's publication, The Basic Guide to Exporting, as excellent tools for those new to export. The May 21st webinar, entitled Preparing Your Business to Export, features SBDCs and what they can do for the would-be exporter. It also provides another take on the usage of the SBA online export business planner, this time from the perspective of a Dallas International Trade Center SBDC counselor. We hope you'll tune in for that and encourage your clients to as well. For a link to registration, please go to www.census.gov/MSO/www/training. I hope you'll take advantage of these opportunities. Keep an eye out for more updates to export.gov/SB counselors, including a future webinar on federal export promotion programs and services and a counselor's toolbox. I'll turn it back to Carla now to tell you a little bit about SBDCglobal.com and to wrap things up. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Steve, and thank you to all of our previous presenters for coming on today's line. Before we wrap up and start up some of our questions, I just wanted to give a brief overview of what SBDC Global is and how it can help you and your local SBDCs. So on our line today, we have a lot of individuals who are working at an SBDC, but they might be new to understanding of what SBDCglobal.com is. So for this reason, we really did want to explain just what the site is and how it can help you and your local centers. Now, to start off, on SBDC Global, we are an online trade platform that is connecting all of the small business clients as well as our small business development centers that are operating within our SBDCs. Through this connection, our small business clients can post products that they would like to buy or sell, engage in commerce with other small business clients, and find potential information and training either on a client level or on an SBDC counselor level. So hopefully you all are aware that there has been a very large small business development center expansion throughout Latin America. And hopefully if you need more information regarding the expansion of SBDCs, you can go on SBDC Global. We have a section called International Expansion. But if you are not aware, we currently have SBDCs throughout Mexico. We have 110. We have centers in El Salvador. We currently have 10. And we will be opening additional centers throughout all of Central America. We will have centers in the Caribbean and as well as in parts of South America, in Colombia and Peru. On top of that, during last year's ASBDC conference, there was an agreement between a network in Brazil known as SBA, who is similar to our Small Business Development Center network here in the U.S., and they will be teaming up with us on SBDC Global as well as through the Association of SBDCs in order to have a connection between the Brazilian centers known as SBA and our centers here in the United States. So the expansion of the Small Business Development Centers, it is growing very rapidly throughout the Americas, and hopefully we will continue to expand as well. But how this all joins back together is that all of these centers and countries that are currently having SBDCs or are in the process of establishing centers will be connected through SBDC Global so that our small business clients can engage in potential international trade opportunities. So this is really important for all of your small business clients that you work with because they will be able to enter new markets. And this can be domestic markets or international markets. So if we go back to some of Berenice's examples that she was saying today of her jewelry client of this client was selling domestically as well as they wanted the potential to sell internationally. Her clients can come on SBDC Global, post their products, and they can potentially enter new markets. Her client is here in Texas, but in having their products available on SBDC Global, they can reach potential domestic markets by selling their product to Washington State or New York, and even internationally by selling their products to a small business in Veracruz, Mexico, or San Salvador, El Salvador. And obviously in doing this, this gives your clients the ability to grow their sales. Now, at the same time, we always incorporate your Small Business Development Center consulting assistance. So your clients are still getting that one-on-one consulting that you at your office provides on a regular basis. The assistance is just extended here through SBDC Global. Now for you, this is great, and I know a lot of times our Small Business Development Center counselors and advisors, of using an additional tool or using an additional program like SBDC Global or, even the Export Business Planner, it can be something different and challenging. But obviously, a lot of these tools are created to help you help your clients. So we do have different features here on our website. We have a lot of trade resources available for free, as well as training to help you as advisors assist your clients in doing international activities. I know that some of you in today's presentation probably attended our previous certification for our SBDC advisors on how you can begin to assist clients to do international activities. We provide that training free of charge for all of our SBDCs, and we will continue to do so here through SBDC Global. So we do offer training opportunities and trade information for all of our small business development centers that are registered with us. But most importantly, I do think it is very clear that if your clients are registered here on the site, they do have opportunities to expand into new areas, to increase their sales. And obviously, this looks great for you and your centers because this helps you generate one of the most important things that we have in all of our offices, which is economic impact. So every time that we have to get our economic impact for our yearly reviews, of how many markets have we helped our clients enter into, have their sales increased, were they able to retain jobs, create new jobs, and having your clients use this resource and in engaging in new markets, that will really benefit and bump your economic impact up. Now, obviously, we are a business-to-business online trade platform, like a lot of business-to-business websites out there, but we are slightly different. We do provide trade information and resources and training to the participants, but most importantly, our website is completely free. We do not charge anything for anybody to be here listed on SBDC Global, but we do have one rule. You do have to be a member of a Small Business Development Center in order to be here on our website. So you have to be a center director, you have to be an advisor, you have to be a training coordinator, or you must be an SBDC client in order to be here on our website. Yes, we do understand that this limits our base of clients who are on here, but the most important thing for us is to have a platform that is accessible solely for our SBDC network, domestically here and internationally as we continue to grow, and for our small business clients, because one of the areas that SBDC Global is most useful for is that on SBDC Global, we have our clients working with their advisors. They're local advisors, so you at your offices, most small businesses don't have a resource like you all at their disposal so easy. So in having only our SBDC clients be here on their website, we know that these clients are obtaining consulting assistance from their local centers and advisors. Now, one thing I would like to say, we understand that SBDC Global, of course, we want to promote international activities, but clients that are new to exporting or just starting the areas of entering into exporting, they can register on our website. It is not for just advanced export clients because these clients can obtain really good information, potential training, and maybe a potential client domestically or internationally as well. Now, I just wanted to show kind of quickly You can post buy and sell leads here on SBDC Global. This is an example of a product. Here on our website, the client is selling their jewelry here. The client is the one that posts all information directly here on the site. And you can actually search any of our buy and sell leads through category descriptions that we have here. We also have a list of our directories. This is really important because it's a way for our small businesses. They are listed in our directories as potential companies that a small business can work with. This is useful on two ends. To start off, if a small business is listed in our directory, it is a way for them to promote themselves free of charge. I work at an SBDC. I understand that a lot of our small businesses do not have the resources or capital to actually create websites or get marketing materials printed for their companies. So on SBDC Global, we wanted a way for our small business clients to promote themselves free of charge. So we have this directory section available for them. Now, at the same time, this directory section, this is a really good tool for you as an advisor. So one of the things that we do in our office, Berenice said all of the resources that she had given her client, yet the client needed help in actually planning and putting everything together. One of the things that she said was she found potential distributors and manufacturers for this client. Here on SBDC Global, you as an advisor, you can come here, see the list of clients that we have available, and maybe one of these clients is useful for your small business, so clients that you're working with. So this can be a tool to help you help your clients as well. And then finally, one of our really big important pieces that I really recommend you all visit, it's our trade information section. A lot of these are lists to third-party websites that we at our office use on a regular basis. So I highly recommend that you visit this section. If nothing else, it's free, it's open. If you go to trade information and then you go to export-import guides, you can actually get really good resource information that can help your clients to start the process of exporting or importing. Now, I know that if a lot of the information is up there, it's available, it's open and free to the public, and a lot of the resources we have are links to the SBA website or, Census, Department of Commerce, the different pages and links that we use at our International Trade Center office on a regular basis. It can just be a little daunting for a small business or even an advisor that doesn't know what's the exact link for you to go to find your Schedule V number in order to start exporting. Actually finding that area or that page might be a little difficult, so we've made it easier here. So that is great information that we have in our export section. I would also recommend that you visit our trade statistics information. We have an area for foreign trade stats, and we have a lot of resources that we use for trade statistics of exporting and importing that can actually be classified by harmonized tariff code. So those are really good tools that you can use locally at your centers and with your clients as well. Now, also with our trade information, as I had said before, we will be incorporating more training onto SBDC Global. So some of the training that you're experiencing now, so right here with SBA of kind of teaming up forces to explain some great resources and tools, we hope to continue to do that in the future. So now I am going to open it up for questions. Once again, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to type those in on the right-hand side of your screen. You'll see the question box, and we can begin the process of going through some of our questions. Once again, I would like to say that we will be sending out copies of today's presentation via email to all of our participants. We will also be sending a survey just to monitor the quality of all of our webinars that we do here on the website. Also, I wanted to provide to everyone our contact information. Right here we have Steve's contact information. I know that he gave previously his email verbally, but if somebody needs to write it down, it's here as well. And here is mine too. Right now we are seeing some questions come in. I guess I'll start saying the questions out loud. Our first question that we have, how can we register on SBDC Global? I'm very sorry, I probably should have explained that during our presentation. If you would like to register on SBDC Global, you or your staff, you can contact me directly and then we can get your center registered on the site. If your center is already registered on SBDC Global, you would just go to the home page of our website and then click register, and we can register you to the appropriate center. We have another question. Is SBDC Global accessible by SBA staff too? Yes, we can get SBA connected here through the website as well. I'll talk to Steve about that. We have another question. This one's for Steve. This has been a great tool. Are there any features in additional development planned for the SBA Export Planner?
What we'd like to do is we've had requests from a number of SBDCs to try to break it up into chapters so it's a little easier to send out a chapter at a time, because it's not as daunting getting the whole thing at once. But unfortunately, under the current budget situation, we don't have the resources to make those changes. But we love the tool so much, and that's kind of one of our priorities is updating some of the information on there and breaking it into chapters. I just don't know at this point when we'll be able to get around to that.
Okay. Our next question is actually for Steve as well. Will there be any specific counselor certification during the ASBDC conference?
Well, it was funny. We launched the intermediate certification program during ASBDC 2011 in San Diego, and we actually had a few counselors go in and take the test and pass, get their intermediate certification while they were still at the conference. So since it's an online test, you can take it at any time. We won't actually have, I think the last window for NASBITE for the year is December, so those folks that will be sitting through Jim Foley's training will be being prepared for that December window of the test for NASBITE. But the intermediate is kind of an ongoing thing, so as long as you have access to the internet, you can go on and take that test at any time. Certificates are mailed out like quarterly, so it's not always immediately that you get your certificate, just because OSBDC kind of manages that process and accumulates them every quarter and then sends them out.
Okay. Our next question, did you say that Jim Foley is doing an advanced session at ASBDC for the NASBITE exam? And if so, will it be different from his session last year?
Yeah, it'll be different from what Jim's done in the past at ASBDC anyway. I think it'll be more similar to what he's done sometimes out. I know he did a training in Missouri, and I think he's done one in Iowa maybe, but more kind of specific. These are the areas that are focused on in the NASBITE exam and making sure that people understand the key issues. So it's set up, when you see the program, we're working on kind of finalizing the program, what's going to look like, but he'll have 6 different workshops throughout the second 2 days of the conference, and they'll be on specific topics such as global logistics or marketing or trade finance, and so they're kind of a real in-depth look at those particular categories. So someone may not feel they have to go sit through every session to be ready, but they may think, okay, that's an area that I could use a little more training on before I go in and sit for the NASBITE exam, because there's going to be plenty of other very interesting stuff going on. At the same time, we just have so much international in this year's program that we're going to be essentially competing with ourselves at times. So we sort of tried to set it up where we had classes geared towards kind of the beginner in international trade going on at the same time as something targeting more advanced folks, that type of thing. So hopefully it would be kind of an a la carte, pick and choose with Jim Foley what courses you really need some help in, or sit through all of them and get a good prep for the CGBP exam.
Okay, great. Our next question, do you have an existing how-to webinar or webinar series specifically featuring the SBA Export Business Planner?
We don't. Actually, the Massachusetts Export Center is planning to put something together at some point this year. So we've been talking with them a little bit. I think that it's a good question, because I think like going into the specific demo type stuff, I think would be really helpful for the SBDC counselors. So that's certainly something. This webinar was kind of designed as the introduction to the tool, what it is, and I do recognize that there's a need for something kind of more specific. Walk-in counselors through the sections are real valuable worksheets, and we'll take that back under consideration, figure out what we can do, or work with Massachusetts Export Center or SBDCglobal.com folks again to see what we can do to satisfy that need.
Okay, and we actually just got one that says the North Carolina SBTDC, International Business Development Program, will likely be doing an online webinar as well regarding how they have used it. So if we get more information, we'll try to send that as well.
Great. Yeah, please
SBA.
Please have them reach out to me as well and let me know what they're doing, what they're planning, and how we can support it.
Yes, and there's always, I know, every quarter kind of international SBDC meetings, and they usually will be doing something. And I know that the Duquesne University is also trying to do some SBA export training too. So we'll be looking at the export planner and sending that information if that is the case through SBA and through all of our SBDCs that do the information. There is somebody regarding the link, if we could put the link to the export planner. The link for the SBA export planner, it is, I'll find that website. You all will be getting the presentation, so the exact link to the planner you can get through the presentation that we send out. But yes, it is a PDF because they're saying that all you're seeing is a PDF. So you can just go directly to www.sba.gov, and you can find the Export Business Planner.
Yeah, Carla, the easiest way really is to just Google SBA Export Business Planner, and it'll come up. But it's linked through our SBA Office of International Trade homepage, which is www.sba.gov/international. You can find a link there, but you can also get the direct link if you just Google SBA Export Business Planner.
Okay. And then somebody's asking regarding a certification that was taken in February. To follow up with your certification, if it was for your CGBP certification, I'm hoping, NASBITE will always be sending out, it's actually their testing center that actually sends out all certification notices. It can take up to 3 months, I believe, to actually get the actual certification notice. If it's through one of the SBA intermediate or advanced level certifications that they have listed, they do send them quarterly. I guess for this quarter, Steve, when would you all be sending out the certificates?
I know OSBDC just sent a batch of names over to TPCC for printing of certificates. If Nancy's on, maybe she could answer more specifically, but I think that next batch.
This is Nancy Gilbert, no SBDC. We did just send a group of the folks who passed the exam through March 30th, 2013 over to our partners at the Trade Promotion Coordinating Committee. and they produce the nice certifications. But just to remind everyone that if you take the online exam on export.gov/SBCounselors for the intermediate level and you get the email that says that you passed that exam, we consider you to be certified on the date you pass it, not the date you get your paper certificate in hand, because we realize sometimes that takes a little while for us to print out and distribute through the lead centers. So it's the date you take it and you pass it is the date that you're certified for the SBA intermediate level exam.
So hopefully you'll be getting it soon, but I can send your information to just double check. And I think that was our last question that we have listed today. We really do want to thank all of our participants for coming and being a part of today's webinar. We hope you obtained valuable information that you can be using at your center and also with your small business clients. We, through SBDC Global and our International Trade Center, we also really want to thank everybody at SBA for really helping us with this webinar and in coming up with this great idea to share with our entire network. It's a really useful tool, and we're very much appreciative of all of the assistance that SBA has provided us in promoting it and in having this tool available. So thank you all for, as well, for presenting and being a part of today's webinar.
Our pleasure.
And with that, we'll be ending today's webinar, and we'll be sending all the information that is needed through email. But thank you, everybody, for participating, and you all have a great afternoon and a wonderful weekend.